How's it going, everybody? It's Mikey B. We're going to talk a little. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on out there in the football world with the Raiders, the Ravens, the NFL. All kinds of things, and it's going to be the usual crew: myself and Shaw Fuentes and Brent Morris. So let me bring those guys up. What do you say there, Sean?
What's up, Raider Nation? I was on time today. I was early.
You was actually early with me, man. I was like, damn. Hey Brent, he got to see all the hard work I have to put in to get this shit together.
Good for him. It's about that time.
I was struggling with my fake mic here, so it was like, damn, what the hell? So, anyways, but yeah, so you guys, man, I don't know, man. What y'all
That
look at
about
this?
sums it up right there.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, that's kind of in a nutshell. I mean, it's like
They say, who says a picture's not worth 1,000 words?
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, what the hell, dude? It's like these guys.
I think that one of Brock had some altering. I think there has a little AI in that one.
I don't know about
either
that.
way, the hair is true.
I think he was just, like, fuck it, I'm half drunk. I'm just gonna do it. So but anyways, it is what it is. Apologize to our viewers. We're not live on YouTube. Some kind of glitch. We are live on Twitter and Twitch. So, but I apologize to anybody that's watching this on YouTube. We're not live for some reason, and I don't have time to sit here and go through and figure out why. So we're just put the recording on there later. So what we're going to do right now is guys. I don't know how you all feel, but I am so exhausted from this football season. And I don't think I have ever said this before in all the years that we've been watching Raider football. And I don't think I've ever said this before. I can't wait for this season to be over. Okay. And that's how I'm feeling. But before it's over, I think the fan base, Raider Nation, deserves some answers. And obviously the what we keep hearing from the guys that have those answers are, well, I didn't see that coming, or yeah, well, we're going to win now, and if you're not ready, you're not going to play, and yeah, the young guys aren't ready yet. And, blame it on me is the latest. Thanks to Gino. Blame it on me. Well, I am blaming it on you, Gino. You and Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly and everybody else. So we're gonna do something a little different tonight. We're gonna talk to each other. We're gonna ask those questions that the media should be asking but are afraid to. Because I guess they're afraid they're going to lose their jobs. We got no jobs. I mean, I got no job. You guys got jobs. I don't have a job. But so we don't have a job to lose, so we can ask those damn questions, and we're going to. So tonight, you're going to have myself representing Tom Brady. You're going to have Sean Fuentes representing John Spytek, and then you're going to have George for Life there, Mr. Brent Morris, representing Pete Carroll. As you can tell, the gum is going about 75 right now. So anyway,
my jaw hurts already.
I tell you what, it hurt a lot worse if I was part of the media, because I probably would have popped you in the jaw by now, Pete.
Yeah. Well, our young guys aren't ready. They aren't there yet.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just get this kicked off, and John or whoever wants to get it started. Okay, Sean, you get it started.
Yeah. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
If I was gonna ask John Spytek a question, the question would be, what's holding you back from doing your job? Because the GM of a football team, it's one of 32, but it's still a management position. You know, if
What,
I'm the
hey, I gotta ask you a question to that question is when you say what is it going to take for you to do your job? Explain to us what his job is.
well, they made a hire. You know, they hired Chip Kelly. He's not cutting it, but they made another hire. They've got another assistant who's been part of the Raiders in the past, Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they hire Olsen? Why is there another offensive coordinator with experience, not just a guy coaching wide receivers that can call plays, a guy that's actually a guy that took the Raiders to the playoffs as the offensive coordinator? Why is he on the team if you're not willing? Why is he there as maybe a backup plan if Chip Kelly isn't cutting the mustard, which is
Brent,
what I think all of us are seeing.
Brent, you want to take the role of John Spytek here and answer that
Well, see,
question for me?
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize in advance if I had this misinterpreted. I know we talked about this a little bit later in the week, but I was under the impression that we were each going to play the roles. So I had already prepared questions
Yeah.
for Tom Brady and John.
We can do it either way.
So did I. I did the same thing. So you're right.
My first question.
Fire away.
This is Brent Morris. This is Brent Morris at Avery's Daddy 84 on Twitter. Mr. Spytek, you are now the fourth GM since 2019. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you will see a winning season and restore stability back to this once proud franchise before you become the fifth to be fired?
Well, we had a really good draft, and my buddy Tom Brady hired me, and I lean on him for a lot of decisions. You know, they don't put the camera on me during football games for a reason. I'm not. Am I making the decisions? I think I am, but I think the answer is yes. You know, everybody loves Tom Brady, so they're going to keep me around as a yes man. So I'll be around as long as Tom Brady is.
Okay, this you got Michael B right here from Drinkin Bourbon Talkin Sports podcast. My question to you, Mr. Spytek, is that's not an answer. That's not an answer.
I will be around. We're going to get this ship turned around.
The question, and correct me if I am wrong, Mr. Morris, but the question, Mr. Spytek, was, do you think that you will see a winning franchise before we have to go to a fifth GM? And that's just a synopsis of what he said. It's not word for word verbatim. So, and you, true to form, Mr. Spytek, are avoiding the question, answering the question. And I'm sorry, we have to hold you accountable here. I mean, we got people out here listening and watching our podcast that want answers for what is going on in this organization, the total dysfunction and chaos. And we want some answers, man.
Well, we drafted really well. We had a really good draft. I'm used to drafting for a team that makes playoffs every year. So we drafted a bunch of developmental players. In 3 years, they'll be ready. I'll still be here in 3 years. And in 4 years, that means the 26th draft class will be ready. We're going to bring in a bunch of free agents. So we should see a winning season in year 4 of my tenure.
What, Mr. Morris? We're going to throw it back to you. Does that answer your question?
No, but it does provide a nice leeway. You said year 4. So to that point, when you took this position, did you envision this first year unfolding like this? And what do you say to a fan base that is so starved for a winner that you're just continuing to preach patience? Mr. Spytek, this Raider Nation is we're worldwide. They are worldwide. And you're asking them to be patient. We're 22 years into the last time, 23 years, mind you, into the last time that this franchise once won a playoff game. And you're asking them to continue. I mean, when does enough become enough? And I know you come from an organization that just won a Lombardi with Tom Brady, but this is, how do you justify patience?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I want
Well,
to cut Brady out. What I want to do is fire Chip Kelly, fire the O-line coach, fire the quarterback assistant, get some real people in here. Maybe elevate Olsen. I like the defense. Defense can play better. We need to get better players. We need to start on the offensive side of the ball. We've got Geno for at least another year. We need to draft a young quarterback. Or I read on Twitter, we may make a play for Lamar in the summer if he becomes available. But draft a young QB, bring in another offensive coordinator, get out of this bad contract that we have with Chip Kelly. Get somebody that knows how to run a pro-style offense, get Brock Bowers open, get Betch open, 50-50 balls in the red zone. We haven't seen one yet. And get Gentry the ball.
Let me interrupt you if I can real fast. You said get Chip Kelly out of a bad contract. To me, that immediately screams disconnect. Rumors are circulating that there's a disconnect between you and the head coach, Pete Carroll. And there's also rumors that are saying the front office, as far as you and Brady and several of the other guys are safe, but that Chip and Pete are on the hot seat. So what is it not true that you didn't have a voice in hiring Chip Kelly to that contract? I mean, if that's the case, this automatically screams a one and done type season for the head coach and the offensive coordinator.
Chip is coaching to win today. Wants to win today. So he's not doing any development and stuff, which is something that we wanted to do. Speaking to the dysfunction, there is dysfunction. Brady's not here all the time. He's cloning donkeys and dogs, doing stuff. But he's got me by the short hairs. I can't do anything without asking him. And who knows where he is on any given day. He's not even at the building. So, yes, there's some dysfunction here. Did I want Chip Kelly?
Mr. Spytek, Michael B. here again. I got a question to that answer you just gave there. If this is the case, it implies dysfunction, and the same dysfunction that Raider Nation and the organization have been experiencing for 20 plus years by your comment. And let me ask you this. You say Pete Carroll is coaching for now, and surely to God, Raider Nation and the people watching this podcast are not the only ones that can see that you don't have a roster that can win now, and that is your responsibility as the GM to construct that roster. So explain to Raider Nation and myself and the people on our podcast why you don't have that roster, and did we not discuss this as a staff? You being the GM, him being the head coach, and then your coordinators and everybody else all the way down the line. Did we not discuss this? That, hey, we're trying to develop these young guys, or we're trying to win now? Because it sounds like you're saying you want to develop the young guys, but Pete's wanting to win now. So there's a disconnect.
Let me let me answer that question. Let me answer it with how we got to these draft picks. Right now, we're being led by somebody who's not here. Brady's not here. So we're trying to lead somebody's trying to lead. That's myself. When it comes to the draft picks and development, because of the dysfunction. We weren't able, we all compromised. So instead of somebody leading saying, nope, we're not drafting Gentry, we're drafting a right tackle, or drafting a safety or something. Everybody kind of compromised on who they thought their best player was. We ended up with Gentry, and it went down the line. So instead of getting the best player available, we got the consensus, we all will vote for this guy. And that is why we didn't get any depth out of this draft.
Okay, so I got another question on top of that then, okay? If you've got a head coach playing to win now, you know and he knows that you do not have a roster constructed to do that. But then you go and you just said that instead of drafting a Genty, you might have drafted an offensive tackle or another lineman or something to help build. But it's like you're contradicting yourself. You're saying, Pete wants to win now, but I want to develop players. But then you don't want to bring in a Genty. You want to bring in let's say, an offensive lineman. Like that's the only player missing, and that's not. We're missing a whole roster of players here. We have,
Well,
you didn't address a lot of these issues in free agency, and we'd like to know why. If you're wanting to win now, you got to build a roster that's capable of doing that, and we don't see that.
you're exactly right. There just wasn't the leadership. We brought in Pratt, who thought was going to be really good, and he was really good part of the defense. Truth be told, he looked at our offense and knew it wasn't good. He knew it was a college-style offense, and that's why he started causing problems. So we got together. We thought it would be to keep the team together. We thought the best idea would be to ship him out. Mistake number one in free agency. Should have brought in more offensive linemen. I wanted to win now. Brady, unfortunately, has never been part of a rebuild, and he's a rookie executive. He thinks he got me this job, but we're being, we're coming clean. This isn't, we're 2-8. If we were 10-1, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. Right?
It sounds like, and I don't want to be accusatory here, Mr. Spytek, but it sounds like you were putting the blame at the feet of Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is not the GM.
I
So,
agree 100%.
if that is the case, if you are putting that blame there and he is the blame, then would you say that your role as GM is basically a complimentary role? It's not really a GM role. And if that's the case, how does that sit with you?
The short answer is yes. I'm here to be a yes man. That's what they hired me for. I was told, hey, just do what I tell you to do and everything will work out. Nobody puts any blame on Brady. It all falls on my shoulder. And so now that it's falling on Spytek's shoulder, Spytek is going to start doing his job. In the offseason, we're going to see a clean sweep. No nepotism. We're going to get out of this bad contract. And when I say bad contract, we can't pay somebody $6 million to run the offense and have an offense that's number 31 in the league. Quarterback leading the league in interceptions. We're going to clean that side of the house.
Back to
could cost me my job, but that's what we're going to do.
All right, I want to go back to Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, do you have any more questions for Mr. Spytek? Because I got a few for Pete Carroll.
Yeah, you mentioned the draft class, and any regrets there about taking Genty? I know you said you're on record as saying your son said if you don't draft Genty at number 6, something along the lines of "I'll disown you," and or for that matter, any regrets about the 2025 class overall? In fact, the same one that we've not seen.
No regrets.
What's
No regrets on Gentry. He's a phenomenal player. He needs help. There's only been one running back in the history of the NFL, Barry Sanders, who could do it with a substandard line every year, year in, year out. Gentry needs help, just like Geno. As far as the rest of the draft class, yeah, I have regrets on a lot of them. The leadership wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But we didn't draft players that could play now. We drafted players, as Tom is used to, drafting players onto a team. He's used to drafting players onto a team that's already established. So these players get 3 years. They don't have to come in and start. And so I regret that part of it, is drafting developmental players instead of drafting players that can help us win now. So that was part of the dysfunction of not having a leader in the building and not having somebody saying, nope, we're doing this. And then everybody knows that it falls on his shoulders.
Mr. Spycheck, this is Michael B again with Drinking Bourbon and Talking Sports podcast, dbtsports.com. This is a bad look for you. This is a bad look for a GM to come onto an interview, onto a podcast, and say that you're basically just a yes man and not really a GM. So that's a bad look for the whole organization. So I got 2 questions here. One, well, I got one question, and then I heard some rumors that I'd like to address. The question is, okay, you got some nice pieces, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You've got Genty that we've been discussing. You've got Trey Tucker, Deontay Thornton. You got Brock Bowers. You got Michael Mayer. They're all skill players. You notice I didn't mention anybody on the offensive line, and that includes Colton Miller, who has been injured a lot this year. But, until last year, he really hadn't lived up to his Pro Bowl or All Pro seasons prior to. So what is your game plan? Cutting Tom Brady out of the picture, what is your game plan to build a roster around those pieces, plus on the defensive side of Mad Max?
Well, it's going to be free agency for 2 guards, or for at least 1 guard and backup O-line. DJ Glaze is our right tackle. He's serviceable right now. We need to get him better coaching. His footwork is off, but that's something that can be cleared. We got Miller on the left. We got to get the center of the offense. We got to get a better center. Meredith is getting pushed around, unfortunately. But why Pete Carroll? Again, I should have stepped in and stopped this changing of the offensive line in the middle of the season. Putnam did the best he could at center, but it certainly wasn't good enough. Getting pushed around by the Dallas D line, and that's going to continue to happen. We got to move for this year. We got to move Meredith back, but next year we got to, these players that we brought in, Kappa, Putnam, Meredith, they might not be on the squad next year. We've got to get better. The only way that we get better at those positions is either through the first round, which I don't think we're going to do that. We're going to draft a quarterback. We're going to have to go into free agency and get some guys. Why JPJ is not playing center? We don't know. Maybe he goes back to center. Maybe we draft 2 guards. That's what we need to do. We need to have a space in the middle of the pocket that the center and both guards occupy, so that the quarterback can step up, throw the ball, get away from these outside edge rushers. So that's how we're going to solidify the defense. We're going to make sure that the wide receivers know their assignments and are coached well.
Okay, so that leads me to the last question that I've got for you. I have several questions I'd like to ask Mr. Lucero. I've heard rumors, and we've all heard rumors, but the latest rumor that I have heard is that this is a throwaway season, that this is a one and done coaching staff, and that Mark Davis, and I hope this is true, wants to step back and get away from football operations and let Tom Brady take control of the team. Can you answer? Is that true or not?
I've got one of the reasons you said something earlier why I came on this podcast and put all this out there. We need to start from a clean slate. If
Absolutely.
Brady wants to be here and do that, and Mark Davis wants him to do it, he's got to be in the building. If he's not in the building, I'm not just going to make day-to-day operate, you know, uh, make sure the guy cleaning socks is getting paid. Make sure the janitor, that's not my job. My role as a GM going forward is going to be to manage this team. If Brady's not here, maybe we just make decisions. If he decides to fire me, that's fine. I can leave this job knowing I did the best that I did. As far as the throwaway season, we had a lot of dysfunction, and it ended up costing us draft picks. It ended up costing us this season. We weren't in line with Pete Carroll. As far as Pete Carroll is concerned, we've got to end the nepotism. We've got to we've got to have better coaching underneath him. Is Pete going to be able to coach 5 more years? We've got him on a 3-year contract. We're going to have to take a look at who's out there, who's going to want this job. What I'm seeing in the marketplace is that when good young coaches leave a team as the offensive defensive coordinator, they want to go to a team that has the capital to get a young quarterback, the capital to get a proven quarterback, or they don't go there because they know their future is tied to whoever's throwing the ball. Bears are a
Okay.
perfect example. We didn't land
Okay.
Ben
Well,
Johnson because they had a better quarterback situation than us.
and that's something that we don't have is a quarterback. So what coach is going to want to come in here without that quarterback in place? And that may be a better question for Pete Carroll. So Pete, answer me this. You have stood behind your boy, Geno Smith, 100%. You've backed him up at every turn. You've talked about how you still have faith in him. You talked about that you have no problem putting him back out there. So, right here, I this is a quote from Jesse Merrick, Silver and Black Sports News. I thought Gino played really well for the most part last night. He was under pressure the entire time in the drop back game. Noted he jammed the ball in there on the interception. I continue to really believe in him. Pete, explain to me what part of that game you saw that everybody else saw where you thought that Gino played well.
Well, well look, we're here to win football games, and my job is to put the best possible players out there to win now. I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know what 5 years brings. All I know is I was brought in to win football games. I've won wherever I've gone, and I'm going to put out the best players, even in a quote unquote lost season, as you in the media like to say. I'm going to put out the players that I put in the best situation. I'm not trying to build for the future. My job's not guaranteed next year. I'm trying to win now. So I could give a rat's ass if you want me to put Kenny Pickett in there or Aiden O'Connell, who we just activated off IR and had a full practice. Like, I don't care. My job is to try to win now. And for as bad as that sucks to a starving fan base for a winner, I don't know what to tell you. You guys only talk about this stuff because of the draft class that they're in. I don't care about the draft class. I care. I want to put guys out there that I can trust, that I see in practice every day, and that I know are going to come to work and try to help us in the best position to win now.
Okay, so Pete, can you see the post that I put up here from a Mr. Nick Walters on Twitter? It's because he's a draft pick that you guys are bringing up the question of Caleb Rogers and why he's not ready and why he didn't play and all of that. We think he's going to be a good player, but isn't quite got it as far as we need him to. So you say your job is to win now, and I agree, but when is that going to start?
Well,
When is that going to start? And then the second part of that question is going to be, isn't part of your job also to develop the young players to be ready to play along the way?
see, when I interviewed for this position, Mr. Davis, he told me, look, we're looking to establish some credibility here, some stability, um, and get a name in here that the players can trust and know who's been a winner in the past. And I've won everywhere I've been, and outside of maybe the Jets, but being in Seattle and winning the having that dynasty that we had at USC. My biggest thing is like I've got my two sons on staff, and I believe in them. If they tell me that so and so's ready to play, so and so's not ready to play, then I mean, who am I to disagree with them? So I was once a young believe it or not, I was once a young coach in this game, and I was begging for my opportunity. And now that Adam and Brennan are under my tutelage and being right there, I'm willing to give them that opportunity, right, wrong, or indifferent. So if you ask me again about a draft pick, I'm just going to tell you point blank to the point that they're not ready. I'm trying to win football games right here. Like that's all I care about.
Coach, I'm asking you, why aren't they ready? Why aren't they? We keep hearing you say they're not ready, but why aren't they ready?
I didn't draft the class. Okay, I didn't have say in the matter.
Can I ask who did?
I got my Seattle guys. I got the veterans that I trusted. To be honest with you, I don't trust rookies. I don't trust young guys. I want guys who have been through the trenches, have gone to warfare and have gotten it in here. And I'm not ready for all that.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate your honesty. Let's bring in another member of the crew for Drinking Bourbon and Talking Sports podcast, Mr. Sean Fuentes. It's Sean. I think you've got a couple questions for the coach.
Yeah, Pete. I wanted to ask you, we just had John Spytek on, and you didn't draft you didn't have a say in the draft class. We believe that. What is your relationship with John Spytek? Do you guys talk on a daily basis? Does he give you feedback on what he thinks you should be doing with the roster? Does he talk about the coaching staff?
Not really. I mean, we see each other in passing in the halls, and maybe greet each other with a good morning cup of coffee, and then I mean, he just he's a rookie, so I've said before, I don't trust rookie players. I'm not really sure I trust rookie GMs. So it's kind of one of them situations where I'm just, my job is on the line here. I'm not getting any younger. Let's be honest. So like I said, Mr. Davis brought me in here to try to bring some stability to a franchise that's lacked it over the last better part of 2 decades. So it's just me and John. He drafted the guys, and I don't know. I wanted to bring in my guys. We had this surplus of spending money to throw out there. We brought in Tyler because he was one of my guys. And we brought in Stone Forsythe, another one of my guys. Tried to trade for Reek Woolen, and Spytek shot that down. I don't know, for whatever reason. Maybe he thought we had 3 Seahawks was too many. But my biggest thing is no, John and I mean, it's a working relationship. I'll just put it that way. But I mean, it's not like we're best friends. We don't go out to lunch every day. Is some of that my fault? Perhaps. But again, when you've got a 30-year age gap there, there's probably just not a lot of not a whole lot of common ground. But I hope over the next few weeks we can establish some sort of common ground. Because at the end of the day, what do we want? What do we want? We all want to win, right? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
That's true. We all want to win. Let me a little follow up question. I know Brady's like it seems like he's not there. Do you talk to Brady at all? I mean, everybody's saying he's
Mr.
steering the
Brady,
ship.
Tom Brady is right here. I'm sorry. I'm in the building. See there? I'm in the building. Okay, so I'm right here.
All right,
No,
Stop.
Brady.
Please, Mr. Spytek, stop talking about me like I'm not here.
I don't see Tom. I wish that maybe I did a little bit more. I feel like maybe this whole thing with him minority owner felt more like a cash grab than anything else. I hate to say that, but it does certainly feel that way. I know he's having a lot of success over there on Fox. But when you've got great minds like he obviously is, he's widely regarded as the greatest of all time at the position, a sure ballot first or a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. We've got to figure out a way to get on the same page. And I wish I saw a lot more Tom. Let's just put it that way.
But Michael B. again here, Coach. When you talk about Mark Davis, can you see this picture there,
Yes.
Coach? Okay, so it looks like Tom Davis or Mark Davis is sitting there, and he's talking to Mrs. Carlos Santana there on the far left, Cindy Blackman, the drummer for Santana. And I don't blame him. I'd talk to her too. She's kind of hot, and it seems like he's making plans for the club later tonight. That night, instead of really focusing on the game. And then we get this look, and so would you say? You heard the question that I asked Mr. Spytek earlier, so I'm going to ask you the same question. Is there a disconnect there, and is there any truth to the rumor that Mr. Davis is looking to step aside and let Tom take over?
I don't know. I mean, can I be completely transparent and honest with you guys?
Please do.
That's what our viewers want. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
what I think is going on here is this organization has become the I guess the model for who the NFL is in bed with now. The glitz, glamour, the betting aspect. Everywhere you look, it's sports book this, sports book that. So for many years, it was widely regarded that Las Vegas would never have an NFL franchise for that very reason. But now it's like Mr. Davis. I can't even call him Mr. Davis because that's a disrespect to his father. Mark took a gentleman's agreement maybe with Commissioner Goodell that we really need to put a franchise there, and so fellas, I'm just not sure. I was brought in to try to build this after so many failed coaches, but I'm not sure that this is salvageable because I feel like every single obstacle is against this Raiders franchise, and that they are. I won't use the word cursed, but I will say there's so many hurdles and obstacles for this franchise to overcome that, and I don't think Mark cares. Honestly, I think he knows. I mean, look at this. You just put a 2-7 team in primetime football a week and a half removed from a Thursday night prime football game because it's the glitz and glamour, the mystique of the Raiders franchise. And honestly, I'm not sure how I should say that it gets better.
Okay,
Does that make sense? I'm just here. I'm a talking head. I'm a place figure. Like we knew, and it's a vicious cycle. But I'm not sure that it's ever going to get better.
One quick question, Pete. So, do you think when Brady stops doing Fox broadcasting and stops
again, I'm
phoning his
right here.
dogs,
Again,
Brady,
Mr. Fuentes, I'm right
Brady,
here.
when are you going to stop doing that? But Pete, your opinion, when he stops doing that and actually tries to meet the standard he's supposedly had set for himself, do you think it'll get better then?
It has to. I look at minority owners across other sports, be it Ryan Reynolds with Wrexham FC, in the soccer league, and all these other celebrities that have taken up ownership across multi sports, and they have a far more hands-on approach. And maybe it's just because Tom has this lucrative $10 million a year contract to call ball games with Fox. I wish I knew the answer to that. I think the answer lies somewhere in between a money grab and, again, going back to that novel concept of a team being in Las Vegas. If Tom could find that, that common balance of, hey, look what I did. I was not only the greatest of all time quarterback, but I took I'm not going to say the Raiders are a joke of a franchise. They're a long established, credible franchise, but I took
best unis in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, absolutely. But I want to take this franchise and restore it for what it was, or bring it back to what it was, rather than what it is right now, which is just a destination city for every other NFL's team's fan bases in the league. You get what I'm trying to say there? Like I want, I guess I'm going to hang my hat on, hey, look, we can bring this franchise back. But until I can, like my contract or Mr. Brady's contract, until it goes through with Fox, this is just a cash grab. And I don't blame anybody in Raider Nation for thinking otherwise.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. I see that Mr. Brady has stepped to the podium. I think he's ready for some questions. Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Morris, do you have any questions for Tom Brady?
Yeah, I definitely have one. Tom, I mean, you bought shares.
Mr. Brady to you, Mr. Fuentes.
Mr. Brady, you bought shares of the Raider franchise at an all-time low price, and it was said you were going to be the voice steering the Raiders into the new, into a new era. And the team is 2-8. What's your opinion on how you've done this first year as an executive, and the decisions you've made and how they've turned out? Are you meeting the standard that you've set for yourself as an executive?
Well, and that's a great question, Mr. Fuentes, and I appreciate you asking that. But I'm going to kind of tell you where we're at, how we got here, and answer your question at the same time. I don't recall actually saying that. I do recall that being mentioned in the media and around the fan base and things like that. But I do not recall saying that I was going to be the voice of the franchise. Um, maybe I'm just forgetting that I did say that, but I don't recall that. So, secondly, I want to touch a little bit on what Mr. Morris mentioned, or what Coach Pete Carroll mentioned earlier, as far as the money grab. I think the whole idea and the whole reality of an NFL franchise in Las Vegas is a money grab. I the anybody that really knows the game, really knows the fan bases and so forth, saw this coming when this announcement was made, before the move was made, that if you can't put a good product on the field, and even when you can, you're going to have anywhere from 50 to 70, 80% of your opponent's fans in those seats. I know there's been a lot of talk about people saying, well, no, if they have a winning record, then the season ticket holders will stop selling their tickets. Well, my reply to that is those season ticket holders, a lot of them bought those tickets for that very reason, to sell them. They're not really Raider fans. They're Las Vegas residents that don't really give a shit about the Raiders or anything else. So what they might be somebody on a city council, they might be somebody in the mayor's office, so on, so forth and so on, that they bought those tickets just so they could sell them and make a profit. Okay, and not only that, by selling those to opposing fan bases, you're bringing in fans that are just totally infiltrating the Las Vegas economy above and beyond what you normally have from the regular visitors to Las Vegas. Now that's part of the plan, and I've talked to Mark about this. Is that I don't think we're going to be able to build that process here or that program here without cleaning house. And when I say clean house, I'm talking about something we haven't done in the Raider organization before. I mean, clean house from top to bottom and start over. Okay, because for 20 plus years we have been doing the same things over and over, expecting different results, which we all know as grown men and women that that's the definition of insanity, and we can't keep doing that. So what we have to do is, Pete, I hate to tell you this, but you're probably going to be gone after this year, okay? And your whole staff with you, including Patrick Graham, who's a leftover. I'm just being brutally honest here with you, Mr. Fuentes, because I know the viewers want to hear the truth instead of all this coach speak and this BS that they keep hearing. So the solution to me is I'm going to keep, I'm probably going to keep John Spytek, okay, because he's my buddy. But Pete, he's just not cutting it, okay? And there's a disconnect there between him and the front office. Seems to be a disconnect between him and the players, especially the younger players. And so I just think it's time to maybe clean house and eliminate some of this shit right here where you see Pete Carroll out there wrestling with the players out on the practice field when they should be practicing, getting ready for games. I mean, that's not what I brought him in here for. The man is going to be 75 years old, and I don't want him to die out on my practice field, and then I got all kinds of lawsuits to pay and shit. So let's be honest. I'm the great
Mr. Brady. Let me ask you a question.
no, you don't get to
Who
cut me off.
brought in Spytek?
No, you don't get
Was
to cut me
Spytek
off.
somebody you wanted? Well, you had about 5 minutes of talking. Why did you bring in Pete Carroll?
Fuentes out
Why
of
did you
here?
bring in Carroll if you were just going to fire him? If you were just going to call him old?
Well, that was more, because we thought if we built a roster properly that we could win. That was Pete's deal. He wanted to win,
Yeah.
and
So let me ask this: what kind of
we
was it? You
underestimated the roster.
was it?
We
Was
underestimated
yeah. Was it you or your puppet Spytek that chose all these draft picks?
me.
It was you. Okay. All right. So
Why else do you think we'd go out and get Cam Miller?
you like Cam Miller, huh? Let me
We love
ask you
Cam.
this: one
I wish
last
Cam
question.
Miller was our starting
This is a
quarterback right now.
this is going to be a hard question This is a real hard question because I don't think you've ever had to do this, Brady. Do you actually think you have it in you to turn this around? Or do you think you're going to tuck and run like the tuck roll or blame the cold weather for the deflate gate and it was the coaches for Spygate? You just going to run or are you actually going to stick this out? Do you have it in you to do it?
Mr. Fuentes, I'm really surprised that you didn't include, was it a fumble? Wasn't it a fumble? Charles
I
Woodson crying in his wine and whiskey. You might as well
I
throw
did
that one
say
in there
tuck rule.
too. Yeah, the tuck rule. So why don't you throw that one in there? So if you're asking me as the GOAT, do I have it in me? I mean, I got to be frank, Mr. Fuentes. That's a dumb question. I'm the GOAT. Okay. So, yes, I've got it in me. I'm the greatest quarterback ever play. I'm the greatest announcer that's ever been on Fox Sports. And I'm going to be the greatest owner in the NFL by the time it's all said
Let
and
me
done.
ask one question. I know
I've had
Brett has a
7
question.
championship
What
rings. I got 7 Super Bowl rings, and I'm going to have at least that many here
do
with
you
the
think that
Ravens
Elon
before I'm
Musk
done.
is your competition? Is that who you're competing with? He owns
Who?
Twitter. He owns Elon
Who?
Musk. He owns
Who?
Twitter. He owns us.
Who's
SpaceX.
Elon Musk? Elon Musk is a billionaire that built his money off of buying other companies. He hasn't invented a damn thing. He has nothing to do with Tesla. He bought the company. He has nothing to do with SpaceX. He bought the company. He hasn't developed anything. I'm going to develop an organization. I'm going to develop a culture. I'm going to develop a
Yeah,
winning attitude. I'm going to
yeah.
develop a franchise.
You didn't invent football either, and you bought shares into the race.
Next question, Mr. Morris. Do you have anything for me before I have to go back to
Yeah. My only thing is like
my
you.
own dogs?
I mean, you're quote unquote minority owner, 5%, but obviously you and Mr. Mark get along pretty well. What do you say? Like, is it unreasonable for the members of Raider Nation to expect more out of you? Is it just because are you handcuffed in your decision making, or are you right there in Mark's ear as far as the day-to-day operations, or are you so busy with Fox that you really don't care, and that's what leads people to believe that it's a cash grab? Like something's up, and if it, I mean, there something's rotten, and are you do or I guess what I'm asking is, do you or do you not have enough pull with your 5% stake in ownership that you can actually make a decision?
Um, yeah, I want to answer that question for you honestly. Okay, I am a busy guy. I got a lot going on. I have children that are in sports. I have, the ex-wife. I have girlfriends. I have a lot of cloning I've got to do, and I just the problem is they haven't been able to clone me yet. So if they were able to clone me, then we wouldn't be having this conversation at all because I'd be at all those places for you. Um, thank God. I appreciate you. Thank you, security, for getting Mr. Fuentes out of here. I appreciate that. So, anyways, I think to answer your question, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Morris, because I like your guys' podcast. I watch it all the time, and I appreciate you guys. So I want to be honest with you. Um, I am not handcuffed. I do have Mark Davis's ear, and Mark Davis is my little bitch, and he's going to do everything that I say and want him to do, because all Mark Davis cares about is building that house up on the mountain that looks like a spaceship or something out of Star Wars, and having his 26-year-old girlfriend over to get her impregnated when He says she doesn't know anything about him being a millionaire. So that's where Mark's, as you could see by the picture that was posted earlier, that that's where Mark's thinking is lying, is that he's all about the nightlife, baby, and he's not about the just win, baby, anymore. So he's wanting me to take that mantle from him, and that's what I'm going to do. The problem is we got to decide when that's going to happen. I have a contract with Fox Sports. I don't remember how long it's for. I can't even remember off the top of my head. I got so many contracts to deal with. But when the timing is right, the rumors that are being put out there are true. Mr. Davis is going to step away, and I'm going to take control as the at least the managing partner, if not the owner, the majority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and then um, we'll see what we could do from there. Because I think that we could put a pretty good product on the field, but it starts with what I mentioned earlier: cleaning house and rebuilding that foundation from the ground up. Does that answer your question, there, Mr. Morris?
Yeah. Fair enough. One last thing, just real quickly, uh, is there even a minuscule part of you that feels obligated um, to try to get this right for the absolutely just the worst call rule in human history, NFL history, the Tuck rule, which we all know that was clear as day a fumble? Is there just a tiny part of you that thinks I've got to make it up to this organization?
Uh, Again, I want to be honest with you, Mr. Morris, for all your viewers and listeners out there. Um, there is a minuscule uh, part of me that feels like I have to do as you're talking about. Make that up to the Raider Nation and so forth, because it was a fumble. I mean, let's be honest. I've said that before. It's nothing new. I told Charles Woodson that when we talked and did an interview together, and when we're drinking wine and Woodford whiskey, Woodson whiskey together, we talk about it, and yeah, it was a fumble. There's no doubt, but no takebacks. I'm sorry. It got us started on winning 6 Super Bowls. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing to Raider Nation right now. But it's
So
about
you would agree. So you would agree with apologies to the late great '90s movie, The Butterfly Effect, that did attribute to a butterfly effect. That fumble that was clearly ruled the Tuck rule, which I guess inevitably was actually an NFL rule, had that withstood as a fumble and the Raiders go on to the Super Bowl, John Gruden keeps his job and thus establishes a winning franchise and a winning culture for probably at least another 5 years. Um, so that ultimately may have been the biggest, uh, just an absolute sham of a call in NFL history. The altered the course of not only your career, but also of a once proud franchise that you are now the minority owner of, and are trying to get this right, so to speak.
uh, yeah, Mr. Morris. Or may I call you Brent? Brent, let me. Yeah. I'll agree with you. And that was a great movie, The Butterfly Effect. It really was. I, you know, it was really a great movie. With that said, that's a good correlation, also, because it did do exactly what you're saying. It ended what could have been a dynasty and created another one. And I was a beneficiary of what it created. And so now that I'm retired and living my best life, and I don't have to defend that organization anymore. And I am part owner of this organization, and someday hope to be majority owner and actually take things over for Mr. Davis because he has no children to step into that role. So, yes, I agree that had that play been called properly as a fumble, that the Raiders would have been, John Gruden would have took the Raiders on at least a 5 to 10 year run that would be similar to what we had in New England. Yes, I agree with that. And now that I'm here, I owe it to Raider Nation to try to rectify that and
Well,
try.
can you expedite the process, please? Can you speed it up? Because I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of wearing this incredible swag and merch and the shield and everything else and preaching commitment to excellence when we've been nothing but a commitment to excrement. And so I need you to speed it up. I need you to, I mean, you're obviously best friends with Dana White, who's had wild success with the UFC, clearly knows the ins and outs of business. Mark, honestly, he knows his ins and outs with the Las Vegas Aces. He knows how to put a winning product out there. So can it translate to the gridiron, please? The Raider Nation is begging you as a 5% minority owner to do more because we're sick of it.
Uh, Brent, I gotta say, I'm a 5% owner. I paid $10 million for that privilege. You also know that the Raiders, as an organization, they have an ownership group. That Mr. Davis is the you know majority owner or managing partner, as Al Davis used to call himself. And you know that his mother just passed away. And she was actually, and a lot of people didn't know this, is that she was actually the majority owner of the Raiders. And Mark is right under her. And then you have several partners involved in that organization. And so we have a lot of people. It's like a board of directors where, we have to, you gotta please them all. So to a degree. But now that Mrs. Davis, Carolyn Davis, rest in peace, has passed on, and Mark is taking full control. Not saying that he didn't have full control. I'm just saying the true owner of the Raiders was Carol Davis. She had the majority ownership in the group. But now Mark inherits that, so he has doubled his ownership in the group, basically. And if he's going to have to pay millions of dollars in luxury tax, inheritance tax, because of her passing away and him being left with uh, that role. So that's part of the reason why I came in with, and I'll be honest, the goal was I'm going to come in, I'm going to learn the ropes a little bit uh, on the job, but I'm going to do these other things, and then once that time comes where Mrs. Davis does pass, and Mr. Davis, or we won't call him Mr. Davis, Mark is ready to step away, then I will come in and expedite things. And that's where we're at. I think, and I'm not going to just say I think, but I'm going to tell you straight up, in the next 5 years, the Raiders are going to be something that the nation is proud of again. Does that answer your question, Mr. Morse?
Yeah, I appreciate the clarification on that. I mean, the harsh reality is we this franchise was buried up in crippling debt and poor draft classes, turnover left and right. I think at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that winning cures everything.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know, it just sucks that you look across the landscape of the NFL, and there's been franchises that have turned it around 10 times as fast as the Raiders have. And I think that if we could break away from what we've been doing here for the last hour and 6 minutes and get down to brass tacks, and the fact is, this franchise, Michael, deserves a true teardown. And obviously, I don't want to see Max Crosby go. And I wish that as a fan of his, that I could look him in the eyes and say, hey, 2026, you're gonna laugh at the way that 2024 and 2025 were, because 2026 is going to be light years better than that. But I think, honestly, bro, if we tie our wagon to Pete and Gino for one more year, and we use this as a wash year, and there's clearly, like we talked about earlier on this pod, there's clearly a disconnect between the front office and the head coach. It's just not going to get any better, bro. And it's exhausting. We talk about it all the time. Like, me and you, I mean, I know you're a Lamar fan and a Ravens fan by default, but like, dude, if it weren't for the Oregon Ducks, I would fucking hate weekends in the fall. I'm dead serious, bro. I don't care. I don't care. I am so not emotionally vested. The Raiders they've taken Sundays and the glory of Sundays out of me. Like, the only thing I care about is looking at our fantasy scores. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore, bro. Like, I don't give a rat's ass about the Raiders anymore. Like, it's exhausting. And the problem is as you, as a fellow Kentuckian, me as an Arkansan, like, people know, like, we're few and far between, like, Raider fans in the Midwest and in the South. Like, so when the Raiders lose, which here lately when we're 2-8 feels like every fucking weekend, like, when we lose, every person that knows that I'm a Raiders fan comes and say, hey, how about them Raiders? Like, bro, I don't care. Like, I laugh at them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you want me to say. If you think you're getting ribbons in on me, it's not going to happen, because I don't care.
Right. And speaking as Michael B. again, Brent, we've discussed this. I opened the pod tonight with how exhausted I am. Okay. Yourself, I've been a Raider fan for 50. This is my 57th or 58th year. I haven't really. Okay. I'm 64 years old. I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. And you're right. It's exhausting. And and we talked about this before too, before we came on in the green room, that I don't have the energy anymore. And I've been looking forward to this season being over. I mean, the one thing that I had going for me was that I am a Lamar fan, that I'm a Ravens fan by default because of Lamar. I love Lamar. Lamar is my favorite player in the NFL. Everybody knows that. I'm not telling anything new. You see what I post on Twitter, how I defend him, go to war for him. But, and he played here at the University of Louisville. I got to see him live. I had season tickets all those years. And that was my one solace that I had until this year. And so with the Ravens struggling, it was always like, well, I know the Raiders are going to suck. They keep saying the same thing. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. And it never is. And I've come to expect that. But I had the Ravens to fall back on. it's like fire and ice. It's like this team brings you down and this team lifts you up. And I know a lot of people out there, especially in Raider Nation and all of the NFL fans, don't think it's possible or, think you're a fake fan if you're a fan of two different teams. And that's just bullshit. Okay. Because you can do it. It's not easy, especially if you got to choose between them. Luckily, I haven't had to do that, because when the games are being played, I pull for Lamar and I pull for the Raiders. But either one
No,
wins.
and I totally get that.
Yeah.
I absolutely get that. Growing up, like
Mhm.
I mean, to not to bring the NBA too far into this, but I was Shaquille O'Neal fan. I mean, I played
Right.
center in high school basketball. And so I followed Shaquille O'Neal wherever he went, Orlando, LA. Like that became my favorite team. So I mean, it is what it is. But my point is in all this is, man, I don't blame the younger generation for cutting ties and wanting to get back or wanting to follow a franchise that's a proven winner, because I wouldn't put this heartache and everything else on my almost 10-year-old and my almost 6-year-old. I don't know how. I guess one day I was watching young enough, probably my son's age, to watch Raiders football, which would have been in the 90s, 91, early 90s, 90, 91, 92. So we were decent, and I don't know what drew me to them. I was born in 84, 1 year, less than a year really after the latest Super Bowl in 83. So it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't wish this pain upon people, and I hate to say that because at the end of the day, Mike, it's just sports, right?
Right.
But I mean, it does provide us a relief from the real shit of the world, be it politics and
Mhm.
everything else. That we try to. It's a nice escape from that.
Right.
But man, it would sure be nice to be competitive every 5 years. And I don't think that's asking too much. I'm not asking for what the Chiefs have, or
Hmm.
my God, how good do the Patriots have it right now? They went from Brady to 2 or 3 years of being shit, and now they've got the next Tom Brady, and Drake May, so it's like, just how lucky can you be? Meanwhile, we're 24 years into this without a playoff win, and I know that there's the Dolphins and everybody else out there that have suffered the same. But man, let's be honest. The Dolphins and the Jets and the Browns, they're not in the same conversation as one of the original NFL, AFL franchises that should be right there in the conversation instead of being a whipping boy every year, bro. It's just I'm over it, man.
Yeah. I get that, Brent. The thing is, you and I, while you're not nearly as old as I am, you and I have been fans so long of this team and this organization that we actually bleed silver and black. And it crushes my soul to see this organization become the laughing stock of the NFL, which it is. Let's be honest. Um, I think with the younger fans, I understand, they want it with the microwave society and we want everything to happen right now, that they can't be as patient as maybe us older fans can. And and I don't blame them. And I don't and here's my plea to Raider Nation and to the Raiders organization. Stop telling us to be patient and show us improvement, show us results that you are really making changes to build this organization back up.
And I think that's what pisses me off. And I think a lot of other people in our fan base, more than anything about Pete, is admit defeat, bro. Admit defeat. Come out and say, look, at the beginning of the season, I thought we'd win 10 games. Come out, dude, and it might just save him his job. Honestly, if he'd come out in a press conference and say, hey, look, I was wrong. We're not a good football team. We're not like the guy. And it's not because the players don't believe in what we're selling. It's just we don't have the talent. We don't have the depth. But just come out and say, look, I was wrong. But we're going to get it right. Like the players are buying in 100% to what we're selling, and we're going to get it right. It's not going to happen over. And that, dude, that would be music to everybody's ears if you would just come out and say, look, I was wrong. Don't pull Geno Smith and say, look, your kid got in a car wreck, put that on me. Like, that's stupid. That's asinine stuff that nobody knows. Exactly. Yes. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Okay. Don't make a fool out of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we've had enough of that. We've seen enough, but you've got to take ownership for your indecisiveness, your inability to see how good your team was. But my God, man, you're 2-8, going nowhere. Like if you won every game from here on out, you finish 9-8. We know that's not going to happen. So play your younger guys. Do something. It's like that old meme. We've all seen it. We're both on Twitter. You've seen that with the little skeleton person with a stick saying, do something. Do something. Just shake it up a little bit. Shake it up a little bit. You bench Geno Smith. Do something. Why the hell did we trade a 5th-round draft capital for Kenny Pickett? And you and I both know Kenny Pickett's not the answer. We know that. You as a Ravens fan saw Kenny Pickett for the Steelers. We know Kenny Pickett cannot do anything. But if you put him in there, at least you know that he's got mobility and that you've done something. Doing anything is better than sitting on your ass and not doing a damn thing, right?
Well, yeah, and I couldn't agree more with you, and you know that. And the thing is that, what we're hearing is the typical coach speak, okay? And what we're hearing is a coach speaking to the fan base like we don't know a damn thing about what we're talking about. Like we don't know what good football is. We don't know what it takes to get guys ready for the NFL, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've been watching freaking football for 60 years, okay? I play football. You play football. Maybe not in the NFL level, but we know what it takes, okay? And I also know that you as a coach are going to sit there and keep saying, oh, well, I have full faith in him. I think he's doing a great job, when everybody knows that he's not. So why are you saying this shit, knowing that everybody knows it and you know it yourself, but are too egotistical to admit you were wrong? Okay. And that's what it boils down to, because coaches, we talked about this on our previous podcast. Coaches have huge egos. You have to be a coach. Okay. So they have huge egos, but the ones that can admit that they were wrong, I respect the hell out of. The ones that refuse that, the ones that refuse that, like Pete's doing now, and we see John Harbaugh doing it every week with the Ravens right now too, okay, that will not admit they're wrong. It's like, I have zero respect for you.
Yeah.
I don't care how many championships you've got.
I promise you, as two guys who've spent a lot of time in management positions and across the blue collar industry, it is far more refreshing to hear somebody show a little bit of humility and admit where they messed up than it is to continue pouring on. I mean, like I said, I love Absolutely. And I've probably used it at least half a dozen times in all the years that we've been doing this. Like, I love the expression, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's fucking raining. Okay?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, my eyes are not closed. I see what I see. This fan base sees what we see. And we know, be it, Jackson Powers Johnson, clearly the best guard on the team, sitting on the
Absolutely.
bench because Brennan Carroll thinks that he's not ready. Like, and the examples go a mile long. It just makes zero sense to
Yep.
continue lying
Right. Well, yeah, and that's the thing.
to this.
I thought you were still talking. I'm sorry, but you were cutting
No,
out on my
no,
end.
no,
Uh,
it's fine.
th-
Go ahead.
I mean, I agree with you 1,000,000%, Brent. And football fans today are more knowledgeable of the game than they ever have been in the past. And they study, a lot of them study film, a lot of them, rewatch games and they played the game and, everybody's got a podcast, ourselves included, everybody's, got some kind of statistical algorithm that they like to use and all these types of things. So if you're going to sit there and tell me that you think this guy's doing a great job, and I know for a good damn well fact that he's not, and you know that too. And you, like I said, I have no respect for that. The next thing that I want to say is that you're telling us that Jackson Powers Johnson wasn't ready. You're telling us that Carson Vincent isn't ready, or Caleb Rogers. I'm sorry, Caleb Rogers isn't ready. You're telling us Jack Besh wasn't ready. You're telling us Dante Thornton's not ready. Well, your job as a coach is to get them ready. Okay. They've been in the program now for almost 9 months, ever since you drafted them in April. Okay. So explain to us why they're not ready and why you are failing at getting them ready. Okay. Were they all misses? I don't think they were all misses in the draft. I think they are players that
No,
need to develop and can do that. So what is the
no,
real problem?
no. I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that this was this was a marriage that was a kind of I guess a predetermined, a setup. I just, we've been so starved for a winner that we're willing to give anything, any new change, a chance.
Oh yeah.
But by the same token, we're so starved for that winner that we're going to turn on you real fast.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
when you pair a 75-year-old coach with a 40-something-year-old, maybe 50-something-year-old GM, rookie GM, a Super Bowl winning coach who's won at every level that he's ever coached at, with a rookie GM. Like, it kind of, if we were to peel back the layers on this onion, like, we would have seen this was never going to work.
You're
But
setting yourself up. Okay?
because we are so starved for that winner that we were ready to put on these blinders for the reference of the Kentucky Derby there in Louisville, or the blinders and the rose-colored glasses, that we were willing to give it a chance.
Right.
But now that we've seen, hey, what the hell were we like? This was never going to work, Michael. This isn't going to work. Be it this offseason or next. Like, I'm telling you, bro, if wholesale change, if changes aren't made, and I believe, like, you probably follow Tristan Kuhn as well on TikTok. I mean, on Twitter. He knows his stuff. He's tapped in. He really is, and he has a source that's saying the front office is safe. Pete and Chip are on the hot seat. and I believe him. I really think, and I think that as bad as I don't want to see us go through another head coaching search, dude, with the draft, with the money that we have and the
And the
contracts that
quarterbacks.
and the contracts that we're not obligated to, dude, another year, dude, if you're asking Raider Nation to set through another year of Geno Smith and Pete Carroll,
No.
oh God, may God have mercy on your soul. Like, I mean, I just
I won't be able to
I don't
watch
understand
another.
how you can do it.
I can barely watch them
I
now.
won't.
I just I can't do it next year. I can't do it for another year. Um,
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is the problem that we've had with this organization, and it started before Mark Davis. I mean, Al started losing shit, losing. He had the magic touch back in the 70s and the 80s, man, and a little bit into the 90s. And, he had it going in 2001 and 2 when we went to the Super Bowl and stuff. But after that, it's been a progressive downfall that started under Al Davis, not Mark Davis.
Yeah.
And but the problem is dysfunction within the organization that has been there for 25 years or more.
Yeah.
And the only way, because I mentioned this earlier, playing the role of Tom Brady, only way to fix it is to clean house. Now, with that said, I'm okay if you want to bring John Spytek back. I want to see him as a GM with his own coach, not
Yeah,
somebody that was.
yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Spytek had any say in who he wanted as head coach.
Right. And
I think
that's,
Mark
I think,
I think Mark
yeah,
fell in love with the idea of getting an established coach in here. The problem is we didn't have an established roster, and we're gonna finish worse than 4-13 this year. So it's like, you're paying an offensive coordinator $6 million a year to have the 31st ranked offense in the entire NFL. Um,
they had
heads are
to.
gonna have to roll. But I'm with you, brother. Like, you have to completely,
Yeah.
like, you have to cut the head off of the snake. Like be done with it. No more of this half-ass rebuild. Like, don't get it. Let's get a coach in here who can see the forest through the trees and say, hey, we're not ready yet, but I promise you, we're going to do this the right way.
Right.
And in 2 or 3 years, if you will be patient with us, we're going to build this thing up right, and we're going to be established for a while, rather than this flash in the pan, make a wild card by beating the Chargers in overtime, one-time deal. Like that's got to stop. Like, that was just fool's gold.
Absolutely.
Same thing with the 2016 team. I mean, we won a lot of one. We came out on the right side of a lot of one-possession games, but that wasn't. We know that's not sustainable. Look what's going on in Washington this year. And the Jaden Daniels injury notwithstanding, they won a lot of single possession games last year, and we all know that's not sustainable in today's NFL.
No,
so
I mean,
let's get a coach in here that's on the same page with the GM that says, hey guys, look, we've got the bare bones here. We've got a couple of cornerstone players in Max Crosby, Ashton Genty, and Brock Bowers. Let's build this thing up the right way so that in 2 or 3 years, while they're still in their prime, we've peaked and we're going to continue on.
Yep. Well, and you made a lot of good points there, Brandon. And the biggest point is this, when we both agree on this, is that I'm okay with keeping John Spytek, but not only does he need to be allowed to pick his coach, but he also needs to be allowed to pick his front office staff to work with him, his scouts, all of that. Okay, so if you're going to keep him, he's got to be allowed to do that. And I think going back to the Pete Carroll hire and the Chip Kelly hire and all that stuff, we went after Cliff Kingsbury. He turned us down. Okay, we went after Ben Johnson. He turned us down. Okay, I think Pete Carroll was more of a, oh, well, we got to get somebody now higher than he was somebody that they really wanted to bring in. But I do believe they really thought he could get the job done. But I think the problem with that is that the organization underestimated the people in the building on that roster. So, yeah, I mean, we could keep talking about this forever. I want to let you go. You got to get to your family. Uh, I know that Sean had to leave early because he had family obligations and stuff. But man, I really appreciate you guys being on.
Yeah, my biggest thing is, bro, if I can kind of put a bow around this whole thing is
Mhm.
like we knew, okay, we were 4-13 coming off an Antonio Pierce led season.
Mhm.
But when your fan base is so starved for a winner that and we ate it up, man. I mean, I didn't personally.
You tell us you're going to
I
have a
didn't
win.
personally. I didn't honestly.
No,
I mean,
didn't.
I saw the pundits out there in Vegas. We know they're never wrong. And we're not talking about the Vegas Raiders. We're talking about the Vegas moneymakers. They're
Right.
rarely wrong, So when they set the over under for wins at 5.5,
Yeah.
but then you've got your head coach coming out there and saying, I've won 10 games everywhere I've gone. You've got big ass nose Nick Wright saying that, hey, the Raiders are they're probably the second best team in the AFC West.
He did. He picked us to
So
finish.
you start infiltrating that hot air and that belief when an organization, a fan base is so starved for a winner that they eat that stuff up.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's to be excused. It's to be excused when you don't meet those expectations. But by and large, man, the biggest thing is man, I just want honesty, and I want somebody that's going to come out and tell me, that again, like come out and just tell me, hey guys, we suck. You clearly see we suck, but we're gonna get it right. Please stay the course, and I promise you, it would be very refreshing.
Oh yeah.
As people calling the shots, to have somebody come and say, "Oh man, look at this! This guy's actually speaking the truth." And you know what? I'm going to get on board. I'm going to get on board with this because for once we've got somebody telling us the truth rather than blowing smoke up our what. And so that my thing is, guys. I mean, Michael, Sean's already left. My thing is we're not going to be any better than 4-13 this year.
Nope.
I just wish that Pete would, but it's not going to happen because we've talked about it ad nauseum. There's a clear disconnect between the front office and Pete. Play the rookies, find out what you got, whether or not you think they're ready or not. Because at the end of the day, this game is simple, Michael. You and I both played it. You and I both played it. Either you can play the game or you can't.
Right.
That's all it comes down to. So
yeah, because I mean,
throw your rookies out there.
You come in as a rookie with 3/4 of your development already in place. Okay, so it's up to the coaching staff that for the organization you come in on to develop you further and to bring out the very best of you. Okay, that's what their job is. And if you're sitting here telling me 11 weeks, 12 weeks into the season that these guys still aren't ready to produce or perform or at least play,
then why the hell were they drafted in the first place?
Exactly. Okay. Or why aren't you doing your job? So, yeah, we could talk about it forever, as we have been for many years. I think a lot of the fan base, the younger people under 40, 30s and younger and stuff, I think they believe this stuff. You and I, the old heads, have been around for a long time. We know better. don't kid a kidder, don't shit a shitter, whatever you want to call it, okay? Because we've seen it before, and you can see it a mile away once you've dealt with it for so many years. So I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. Raider Nation is tired of it. Just tell us straight up, hey, we're not going to be very good next year. But I promise you, the year after we're going to be a little bit better. The year after a little bit better, and then that fourth year, we're going to be ready to take on the world. Okay, that's what.
Yeah, and just kind of to put a ribbon on this and close this out is like I don't know why that comes with such a negative connotation, a stigma that if you come out and speak the truth as a coach, like, I mean, could you imagine, like, if Mark Davis, the owner, had Pete Carroll come out in the preseason and say, hey, this first year, like, I want to establish something. We're probably not going to be very good, but we're going to compete and actually compete and not be incompetent. Mark Davis, that probably wouldn't have gone over well with him. But could you imagine if he'd have said that, and now here we are sitting at 2-8, the fan base would probably be more forgiving because he did come out and say that. And the fan base would say, hey, look, guys, at least he was honest with where we were. Now we're willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that next year is going to be better. You get what I'm saying? Like, if he could have come out and said that,
and I'd
be more willing to say, okay, let's go. You haven't sold me a bill I needed to hear, and this is the way it's going to continue to be. Like, I'm with you, Pete. I back you 100%. But instead, you came out and said, I've won everywhere I've been. We're going to win. We're going to win a lot while we're here. And now the product is absolute crap on the field.
Yep.
Like, no, I'm done. That's what I'm saying.
I've got some thoughts on that, Brent, and I don't want to talk about them tonight because it take too much time. We've been on here long enough. I know you just need to spend some time with your family, but I got some thoughts on that, and we'll talk about it on the next pod. But I do want to say this. If you say that and then you can't back it up, then you've lost the fan base. Okay. So that's kind of how I look at it. But you mentioned earlier about the Dolphins. So I want to go into this next thing and say, we got a special podcast next Tuesday night at 7, and we're going to be bringing in a former Miami Dolphin that played with a Hall of Famer, great Dan Marino. He was his center, Mr. Richmond Webb, is going to be joining us on the podcast next Tuesday instead of Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in for that. Richmond Webb is a 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame nominee and was a great center. I remember him vividly went back in the day when Dan Marino was playing, because that's how old I am. I've been around a long time. And I'm really pumped and excited that he has decided to come on the pod with us. I've been talking to him a little more than a year back and forth. We kind of lost touch there over the summer, because we kind of slow down in the summer months with the podcast. But we pick back up when the football season started, and he is going to be able to join us next Tuesday at 7 right here on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I apologize to the YouTube viewers tonight that it wasn't live, but it will be on there. The replay will be on there here shortly. And I want to thank my guys, the crew, Brent Morris and Sean Fuentes. As you know, they always bring it. These guys, I love these guys. They're just awesome. So, Brent, thank you, sir. I'm looking forward, and we're going to kind of nail down some things about offensive line play, what it really takes. We've been hearing different things in the media about, Shedeur Sanders aren't getting those reps in practice, and other players say they don't get them, and fans are saying, we're going to get the real scoop behind what really happens on the practice field and in the locker room from a former professional football player who played in the league for a long time and is a 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame nominee this year. So,
Yep.
and he played with a Hall of Fame quarterback. So, looking forward to that. We can get some real insight from him and some real honest answers as opposed to listening to all these media types that just want to blow or, or just saying shit to get clickbaits, clicks. So, I'm looking forward to that. So, and I know you guys are too. And I'm working on some other people too, getting on the show. Uh, and we'll keep working on those guys. I'll let you know when those things happen. But thanks again for being on. Thank your family. Thank Miranda for allowing you to come on and take time away from your family. And if we'll talk next Tuesday, but I'll go ahead and wish you a happy Thanksgiving anyways, in case I forget next Tuesday. So
Appreciate you, brother. As always, appreciate you setting this all the way up. And I'm gonna say this, and maybe I'll close out every podcast that we do from here on in. Raider Nation, as somebody who's been in, I'm 41 years old. I will say the come up is going to be it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I wish I could tell you when it's going to happen.
right.
The come up will be worth exponentially more than what we've gone through. So continue to please stay the course. Looking forward to meeting with Richmond Webb next on Tuesday and asking him some hardball questions. But this thing will get turned around. I promise you, it will get turned around. Even if our coaching staff and front office can't tell you that with a straight face, I can tell you that as somebody who's seen it for a long time now. It's going to be better. It's going to be worth it. Just stay the course. We'll get through this together. And I love every single one of you, especially Michael B. and Sean Fuentes. And can't wait till the next time we get together and talk Raider football.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, brother. We'll talk next week, next Tuesday with Richmond Webb. And we'll talk about this Raiders offensive line. I want to talk about the Ravens offensive line, his experience, just like we said. So as Brent so eloquently said, we love you guys. We thank you for tuning in. Raider Nation, you're one of a kind. There's nothing like the nation. And we love all you guys, and don't give up. It's never over. At some point, it will turn around. Guarantee it, just like Brent said. So, Brent, love you, guy. We'll see you Tuesday. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the fantasy league this weekend. And I'm glad I don't have to play you this week. So, because you do, man, you score more points than anybody in the damn league. I've never seen anything like it. It's like you'll start out at 350 and end up with 450. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And I start out at 411 and end up with 320. So. Yeah. Anyway, we have a lot of fun in that league. I'm glad. So, but thanks, Brent, for closing us out. And guys, we'll see you all next week on Tuesday. And everybody have a good evening. And if we don't see you again, happy Thanksgiving. From Drinkin Bourbon Talkin Sports podcast, I'm Michael B. with Brent Morris and Sean Fuentes. Have a great night, everybody.
Later, brother.
Thanks, man.